Hello and welcome back to Issues in Education, ISTE 19, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are here with Noah Geisel, who's going to talk to us a little bit about really recognition and how we make sure that we take care of both adults and kids around this work. And we were talking before we came on camera about amplifying other people's ideas. And I think that you do that in an amazing way and that you bring joy to ideas, and I think that's why people enjoy being around you. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome. And, I'm glad. Joy's the goal. That fills my cup to know that other people feel that too.
Yeah. So one of the events you've done now for how many years?
4 years.
4 years is the Badge Summit.
Yes,
and
sir.
that happens before ISTE starts. Why don't you tell folks here about that, and maybe even how that translates back to what a school could do that, or what that would look like?
Absolutely. The Badge Summit is a one-day conference dedicated to equity, access, and exploration through the lens of digital badge credentials. And, going to your idea of recognition and, storytelling, it's all about how do we go beyond badges to actually credentials that help tell a better, richer narrative of who our learners are as learners and as achievers, and also recognize that, right? That we're noticing it, we're naming it, and giving them this vehicle that is the credential to tell that story to colleges, employers, colleagues.
Yeah.
And also bring them joy through recognition and to your point, amplification.
Yeah, so it's the piece about how do we value hard work?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes at the very beginning of when I was learning about kind of the badge piece, it kind of felt trite. Oh, we're giving them a badge. And then I was like, no, this is the idea that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, we're honoring hard work. And it's a physical manifestation of that honoring of hard work, which goes back to growth mindset and all those sort of things. How are you seeing people get pumped up because they've been a part of a process like that, or maybe a school district that's doing some work like this where you've seen it be successful?
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you. It is, if you're hearing digital badge conversations and thinking triteness, I invite you to seek some more information because there's some really change the world stuff happening. At Badge Summit, we had a young man right here in Philadelphia, Jamal, who was talking about first sentence out of his mouth, I have this evidence-backed credential that I'm able to take to an employer, and literally, he doesn't care about the badge. He cares about, he now has a job in landscaping because of these agriculture badges he got at an after-school program.
That's cool.
That's real.
Yeah. You can go from A to B.
The value proposition is just crystal clear, and there's no triteness for Jamal in that. And a lot of my work has been with Aurora Public Schools. People can feel free to check out the badge.aurora K-12 work. And, where we've started with the credentials and identifying skills that we think are really important. And then we went out to employers and said, are we right? And they said, yeah. And we said, well, do you want to endorse these? And so we now have 60 companies in our community who say, if you earn this badge, because it's a skill we value, we're going to endorse it, and we're going to open up a door of opportunity for you, starting in preschool through 12th grade. So whether it's career exploration and somebody coming to an elementary classroom and telling you about the amazing career of UX design, to when you're in high school, bringing you in for a job shadow and maybe a mock interview, or maybe even guaranteed interview for an entry-level position. Getting the job's on you, but the door gets opened because of your credential.
Yeah, we see a lot of folks talking about career pathways, but it really does cement that entire road, right? The idea that you're going towards this because this exists at the end, and then there's endorsements by the community because we've asked them what they need. Sometimes we don't close the loop on the work, and I think that's a really powerful story about really making that meaningful from the kid to the teacher to the community. It's a different beast.
Meaningfulness is where, if it's not meaningful, we need to check ourselves and start over, right? Meaningfulness is where it is at, and it's not independent of workforce. It's not independent of regular, just awesome teaching and learning in the classroom. It's part of it all. It's integrated, and I think it's changed the world's stuff, and it's not some K-12 fix for the world that the world didn't ask for. This is happening at companies you've heard of, Walmart, Amazon, Google, Salesforce, the National Hardwood Flooring Association is issuing badges, not just technical companies. And so this is stuff that's helping people tell who they are as learners and achievers. And then on the hiring side, what's really great is for the next job of the future, instead of saying, hey, other people in the room who look just like me,
right?
Who do you know who might be good at this? They're going to be able to search for skills that they need in a way that's blind to last name, race, gender, You know, and so
Yeah.
there's just huge equity concerns at play, and I think it's just going to make a huge impact.
Yeah, I spent some time last week with a number of CTE teachers, and they were talking with an expert on resumes. Like he was like the guy who could like get into like the science of what is on your resume because of how it's scanned, and I just kept thinking equity issues around resumes, right? And that piece, and so it was just a super interesting conversation. But I do think that the work you're doing and the work that you have people considering through something like the Badge Summit really has people taking a moment and pausing and thinking differently. Because we can get in this, here's how you go from A to B. We've always done it that way, but it's not reality anymore.
I couldn't agree more, and it's like we were talking about before we went on, and with the design work, it's so much about ending our queries with question marks and not periods.
Yeah.
You're just being humble enough to realize I probably don't have all the right answers. My best answer right now is not as great as it could be if I asked a few more questions, if I sought to understand and put my users first, because for the work I'm helping with in Aurora, there might be completely different answers for work I would come and help with in the Missouri.
Yeah, and I think that makes even my work with learning space design so hard, is that it's not a standardized thing. I can't give anyone a checklist.
Right.
I can get you some ideas, but we're going to have to build on your culture, your people, your strengths to get to your answer. And I think that's part of the process.
It's a beautiful process.
I know it's fun, but I think
it's
that
hard,
not
but if it
everyone.
wasn't hard,
I think
we
you and
wouldn't
I,
be doing this.
yeah, you and I love the messy process, and we're good with that. There's not everybody down on that floor that's saying, "I really want my work to be messy."
No, my skinned up knees and elbows and scars and bruises all make me better for serving learners and leaders and just. Try to make the world a better place, more joyful.
Yeah, one more question. So, what do you wish you saw more of in learning?
What do I wish I saw more of in learning?
Yeah.
I think I'll go straight back to the questions.
Okay.
And I wish that there was more questions. Like you said, with checklists, right? So much of our learning and teaching and learning in classrooms is checklisty.
Yeah.
It's questions with predefined answers.
Yeah.
And so, that's things that as we're preparing students for successful futures are easily automated and outsourced. And so when we have students really thinking about questions and that maybe don't have good answers, I think that's going to be really a lot more powerful for preparing them for those successful futures.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Really
Thank
appreciate
you for having me. This is a huge honor.
This has been fun. So this has been Issues in Education, ISTE 19, and thanks to Noah Geisel, and hope you all are enjoying the learning from these videos and many more.
Thank you.